Closing arguments now start tomorrow, sooner than even courthouse veterans predicted, slamming the accelerator on a trial already swallowing headlines. If jurors get their instructions by Friday, they can hash out a verdict before the July 1st holiday recess. Miss that window and Sean Diddy Combs stays locked in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center at least 10 more days, while Revolt TV's valuation quivers. In celebrity courtrooms, two invisible forces rule every verdict: momentum and memory. Because fresh testimony clings. Whenever you're under fire, lock your timeline tight. Speed wins. Do you actually know what Sean Diddy Combs is on trial for? Behind the tabloid blur sit 7 federal counts: racketeering conspiracy, transportation for prostitution, plus 5 separate sex trafficking charges, dragging a decade-long empire into courtrooms from Miami to Manhattan. Prosecutors say his company's booked flights, hotel suites, and hush money payouts, turning entourage logistics into an interstate criminal enterprise. If convicted on the top counts, he faces 2 brutal consequences: life in federal prison and automatic forfeiture of assets topping $200 million. Charges create cages. Before you hashtag a verdict, skim the indictment line by line. Informed minds don't echo headlines. Picture the mogul who once chartered jets to Paris, now jolting awake to a guard's count time inside Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. No Ciroc toast, just flickering fluorescence. Since September 2024, 3 judges have nixed his proposed $50 million bail, and every dawn in that concrete cube costs him. Diageo split, Peloton muted his tracks, and Revolt sold at a markdown. Pre-trial detention steals 2 things: freedom and leverage. Inside, deals die. Last week, his attorneys claimed the cramped unit blocks discovery review. If the judge buys it, a delay could balloon taxpayer costs and drag this saga into fall. Cassie Ventura's voice quivered as she read her own explicit texts with Diddy aloud, and the courtroom froze. Even the stenographer's keys went silent. Prosecutors knew forcing those words into daylight would brand power dynamics onto every juror's memory, turning private lust into public leverage. Social feeds erupted within minutes. Recall that when assault footage surfaced in 2024, Combs's U.S. streams tumbled 51.8% in a single week. Screenshots last forever. Before firing off any DM, picture it projected in federal court. And rethink. The defense plans to call 0 witnesses, yet their opening slide still reads, "complete exoneration." Former federal prosecutor Mark Chutkow says it's a razor gamble. Every testimony skipped saves Combs from a bruising cross-exam, but it also leaves jurors marinating in 6 weeks of prosecution sound bites. History shows the tactic can stun. Think Casey Anthony or sink. Remember Elizabeth Holmes. Your move: defense. Persuade with silence or surrender the narrative. Minimalism carries maximum risk. Before slashing arguments in any high-stakes fight, be certain you've already seeded doubt in every mind that matters. Brendan Paul, once the aide who booked Diddy's jets, painted a raw picture on the stand. He told jurors he preloaded hotel suites with condoms, Astroglide, and a pouch of cocaine for Combs's so-called Wild King nights, then ferried ketamine and ecstasy across state lines. The clincher? Every flight and drugstore receipt he said was billed to Combs Enterprises. 2 details, 1 bombshell. Paper trails talk. When insiders flip, the corporate veil shreds. So audit your own house before crisis hits. Reasonable doubt turns giants into ghosts, warns veteran defense strategist Mark Agnifilo, reflecting on the prosecution's 7-count web. He points jurors to the missing forensic DNA and the hazy flight logs, 2 soft spots that he says can swallow a whole indictment. Agnifilo's resume proves the threat. In 2023, he helped Nikola founder Trevor Milton dodge 5 of 6 fraud charges, showing how one unanswered question can erase mountains of testimony. Doubt decides destinies. When your own reputation's on trial, audit every factual gap before your rivals amplify it. Thinking like an investor, ask yourself, would you stake your retirement on one man's reputation? Since abuse allegations erupted, analysts say Diddy's publishing catalog now fetches barely 10% of its 2023 price tag, while Fortune pegs his headline fortune hundreds of millions lower than a year ago. 2 numbers, 1 warning. Brands bleed under courtroom glare. Shield yourself. Build profits on multiple pillars, diverse assets, recurring products, real estate, so a single scandal can't crater everything you've earned. Reputations move markets. While prosecutors polish closing slides, boardrooms are already cueing the comeback soundtrack. Spotify logged a 23% jump in Diddy streams within days of his September 2024 arrest, and analysts at AI Invest say Ciroc shelf sales bounce noticeably whenever headlines lean neutral despite an overall 32% slump since last summer. 2 rebounds, 1 pattern. Dollar signs chase intrigue. If Combs walks, expect reunion playlists, Freedom bottle releases, and ad slots booked before the gavel drops. Momentum sells. Track sentiment in real time, then time your offers to ride the wave. Outside Manhattan federal court, imagine Believe survivors' banners shivering in the July heat. If the 4-person whispers, "not guilty," some posters will drop, and hotline desks could suddenly fall silent. LA Times columnist Anita Chabria notes the women testifying already feel they're the ones on trial. Advocates say an acquittal would lock that chilling effect in place, deterring future victims from ever dialing for help. During Christine Blasey Ford's testimony, Rain's hotline spiked 147%, while one civil rights firm claims 3,000 Diddy-related calls since October. 2 numbers, 1 alarm. Keep survivor helplines visible and your empathy habitual. Empathy fuels courage. Should jurors clear him this week, Combs walks out owing exactly $0 in bail because every $50 million bond offer was shot down. Yet, civil court stays hungry. A Michigan inmate's $100 million assault judgment is being refiled. Cassie's settled $20 million payout is now a template. And attorneys say as many as 122 more suits are queued up, easily pushing potential exposure north of $200 million. 2 numbers, 1 reality. Freedom isn't the finish line. If your crisis plan ends at beat the charges, extend it. Budget reserves, insurance riders, and PR counterplays belong after the verdict, not before. Can Revolt TV really weather its identity crisis? After Diddy's full divestment last year, employees now hold the biggest block of shares, and CEO DeTavio Samuels insists, "We've lost no staff. Morale is popping." Yet former show host Dawn Montgomery quit on X just days after Cassie's abuse suit, saying she couldn't uplift women while Combs leads the company. 2 claims, 1 tension, governance gaps invite rumor runways. Make your brand owner-proof. Lock in clear succession plans, publish transparent ethics rules, and seat an independent board for oversight. Structure builds trust. Non-traditional wedding DJs founder Ben Boylan says couples now hand him "do not play" cards with P. Diddy's name circled in red more often than even R. Kelly. Guardian columnist DJ Oliver Keynes confirms the blacklist trend, noting moral optics, not tempo, rule today's dance floors. Meanwhile, TMZ reports Odyssey and iHeart stations from Boston to LA yanked Diddy's tracks after the Cassie assault video. Proof that consumer sentiment scales beyond the club. Perception steers playlists. Reputation equity evaporates faster than cash. Marketing icon Bazoma St. John warned a Stanford reputation management class just 3 weeks ago. She drove the point home with 2 brutal case studies. Uber's 2017 scandal slashed its valuation to $48 billion. About $20 billion vaporized in one SoftBank deal, and Adidas now faces a possible 300 million euros, approximately $320 million, write-off on unsold Yeezy stock after severing ties with Ye. 2 implosions, 1 warning. When goodwill dies, accountants break out red ink within weeks. Fortunes and legacies will either rocket or vaporize instantly. Want the breakdown the moment that gavel falls? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you're first to catch our live verdict, recap, and deep dive analysis the second the decision drops. Stay curious, stay clear-eyed.